Should we bring in our guest for this question of the day?
I think we should bring in Diane Dehoney. She's the community service librarian at Paul Sawyier Public Library. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning. Thank you all for having me.
Yeah, as we said earlier, we're going to talk about the Gathering of Authors here in just a second, but we do want to get you to weigh in and get our conversation started with our question of the day today. And we're asking our folks out there on Facebook land and then on our text machine, what is your favorite place to read a book? You know, we were talking about before, we're bouncing around some ideas for a question of the day and thinking about summer reading and things like that, and that got me thinking, what is a favorite location, right? If you're grabbing a book and I want to go read it, where do you kind of scurry off to? What about you? What comes to mind, Diane?
Well, I'm going to lean in a little bit to the librarian stereotype. Yeah. I apologize. I am not a hot weather person, and it has been really hot, so I want to hang out in the air conditioning. So I'm just going to say on the couch, in the AC, with my cat.
Yeah.
Except he sometimes likes to sit on top of the books. That makes it a little hard.
Makes it a little tough. Yeah.
But you know, that's my favorite place, I think. So.
Yeah, I love a good book nook, so
yes.
to speak. Yeah, I appreciate seeing that, and I know our very own library is also a great location to come and hang out in the AC and read a book.
It sure is. You can come and sit down in front of some of our beautiful stained glass windows, get that little natural light coming in. We'd love to have you come down and read.
Scott, what comes to mind for you? Do you have a locale?
There's a difference between, what's your favorite place and where do you actually read most of the time?
Sure.
Probably the location I do most of my reading. We won't mention it here on the show. I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
But favorite place, just the classic thought of a nook somewhere. You know, you get pictures on these people sharing pictures where they've got a little nook they've built under the staircase, but a window and a nice chair, right? Will have to be or if you're on vacation and you can be on a balcony and you're hearing the ocean or something like that. Yeah, love just kind of something with where I can look out and see some scenery. But I love a nice chair and a window. I'll go with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done a couple of poolside reading before in a summer trip kind of deal. The last one, I think, one of the last ones was Tampa, and my wife was at a conference, so it was a work thing for her, but I took a few days off and went down there, but I was poolside reading. That's always a good time. You just kind of take a book with you and enjoy the scenery a little bit. But we want our Facebook viewers to chime in on that or anything else we're talking about today, or the text machine, right, Scott?
That's right. 502-353-0233. Just pull out your phone and text your answer to that number. We'll get it, so you don't have to do the Facebook thing, but again, you can if you got that open, and you can hit us in the comments there about anything we talk about today. So we'll let those start to roll in, and in the meantime, let's talk to Diane about this gathering of authors.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's coming up.
It is. It's coming up this Saturday, which is August 24th. We'll be at the library from 10 to 2 down in the River Room. And if you're not familiar with the Gathering of Authors, this is actually our 15th year putting that on. It would be more than that, but, we had to take a couple years off for COVID. So this will be our 15th. We do host this annually. It's really our celebration of the rich tradition of literature here in Kentucky. And we'd like to feature gifted writers from all over the state who we invite in to come and share their work with readers. And we feature these writers, and they really do play an integral role in our service to readers throughout Frankfort and really the Commonwealth in general. And I think some of the authors are there on the screen right now. This year we're hosting 25 different Kentucky authors, plus a publisher, and also our very own Capital City Museum, because they publish some books now too. Yeah. So we're going to have a packed house, and the only thing we need now is to have you, the readers, come down and talk with them and meet them. Some people see the name of the event, the Gathering of Authors, and they're like, oh, well, that's not for me. I'm not an author. No, it really is kind of like a book fair style event, just on a little bit of a smaller scale. And it's for the reader, for you all to come talk with those authors, purchase some of their books, get them signed. I always say that a signed book is one of the best gifts that you can give. And it's just a really excellent opportunity to chat with some of these authors in a really casual atmosphere. You're not rushed. You can ask them your questions, pick their brains a little bit, and see what their new releases are. Pick up something from an old favorite, or maybe find a new author that you're not familiar with, and find a new favorite. It's just a great opportunity, really for all ages, to come and in an atmosphere that you're comfortable with. It's relaxed. It's at the library, so you feel good at the library. So this event is just a whole lot of fun.
And it's a free event.
It is absolutely free.
Yes,
so you don't have to pay to enter. And of course the authors will have their books on sale, but you don't have to purchase anything. You can just come in and chat, but I know they'll appreciate it if you want to pick up a book or two. And we really have a variety of authors who'll be joining us this year. We do have some local folks.
I was going to say, I recognize some of the names that we had on screen.
We sure do.
Gene Birch, Russ Hatter, Chris Helvey, among others that I recognize.
Yes. Really happy to have all of them joining us. Of course, here in Frankfort, we love our Frankfort history and our Kentucky history, so we have those folks joining us. We also have Nash Cox and Sally Clay Lanham. They did a wonderful book on Frankfort's early families. They'll be there featuring that. Really proud to be hosting two past Kentucky Poets Laureate, Richard Taylor, who of course is our very own. We'd love to claim him, and Joe Servant. Happy to be inviting them in. We've got everything from some mystery writers. We've got some inspirational fiction, fantasy and sci-fi, some more thriller type things, lots of history, some great poets who'll be joining us. We're really happy to have Broadstone Books joining us. They are a local small press publisher from right here in Frankfort, but they publish folks from all over the country. They do primarily focus on poetry. So Larry Moore and his staff from Broadstone Books will be there with us. And then Eleanor Haskin Wagner from the Capital City Museum will also be with us. They've been publishing some great books here over the last few years and helping those get out into the world, mainly focused on Frankfort history type topics, and they'll be featuring those. I know that they will be doing a pre-sale for their new Kentucky Deceased book that's based on the podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought just before we went live, I think Spotify sent me a notification because I subscribed to the podcast. So it sent me one, and I think they had a 5 or 6 minute video talking about that book that's coming up. So that's a good way to get some extra info, get a pre-sale.
It is just a great podcast, but now they've got a book coming out about that, and we're heading into spooky season, so we want to read a little something for that. So we're excited for her to have that for pre-sale. But also, I heard from Russ Hatter that he has a new book that's going to be coming out soon. He's going to be doing pre-sales for that.
Oh,
so you might want to come down and check that out. He said he's going to
what it's about.
Yeah, well, we know what it's about. I mean, it is about Frankfort. It's about Franklin County. Because who else knows more about Franklin County than our wonderful former city historian Russ Hatter. So happy to have him at the library always. But I've heard that this book, it's a compilation of his notes on the history of Franklin County that he's been putting together for a very long time. That's finally going to be published, and he told me he's going to have a prototype if you want to take a look at it, and he'll be taking pre-sale for that.
That's awesome.
So that'll be a lot of fun.
So, and you mentioned a mixture of genres that are involved there. Is that something that you guys keep in mind when you're, we know you want to have folks from around the state and a nice representative of different areas in Kentucky, but also genres. Is that something you kind of keep in mind?
Absolutely. I love to keep that in mind as we are inviting our guests. We have folks all year round who reach out to us that show interest in this event. We kind of keep a file of them, throughout the year. But definitely, we want to get a variety of genres represented. We want to get folks who have, feature folks who have newer publications, newer releases. Two that I didn't mention that I'm really excited about having with us this year, Kim Wickens, who wrote the book Lexington about the famous horse, and then also Rhoda Ferraro, who is the librarian at Keeneland, and she's got a book on African American in the racing and horse racing.
And she spoke at a recent Kentucky Heritage lecture.
Did.
That's
she
right.
sure
That's
did.
Right.
And so if you're into horse racing or the horse industry, you might want to come and chat with them and pick up one of those books. But yes, so definitely getting kind of a variety of genres. We really want to have something for everyone at the gathering, and you can pick up, like I said, an old favorite, or dip your toe into something new.
And I think that's such a cool. I mean, I'm sure it's a cool barometer for you all when you do have a local author or somebody in the state who reaches out to you all and says, hey, I've heard about this great event, gathering of authors, or I've attended in the past and I'd like to be a part of it, kind of deal. That's got to be a nice thing to get.
It is. It makes us feel very, very good. It's nice to know that the authors kind of talk to each other and they hear about our event. And this is something really important to us that we offer our readers, being here in the capital city. We really want to feature this wonderful literary tradition that our state has. And I think a lot of folks don't realize just how much literary talent we have, both locally, regionally, and across the state. And it's nice to have a day, which every day at the Paul Sawyier Library, we celebrate that. But it's nice to have one day that we really celebrate that each year.
So that's coming up this Saturday at 10 a.m. from 10 to 2. Like we said, it's free. So folks should definitely come down and check that out. Do you want to say anything else about sort of how the summer has been, or some other events coming up? We mentioned summer reading. The summer reading program came to a close.
It did. It did. We had a wonderful summer, a very busy summer. A lot of times as we get into July, things will kind of slow down a little bit, taper off a little bit as we get into time for school to start. But it has not this year. We have been so busy and we're so happy. It's a wonderful. It's been a wonderful summer, and just all ages down there at the library reading, participating in the summer reading program, both reading and attending events, which we have for all ages. But we're not slowing down. We've got lots of other things coming up. Just literary events. Off the top of my head, in September, we're going to be launching Steve Vest's new book, a biography of George Graham Vest, another Frankfurt gentleman who coined the phrase "dog is man's best friend." It's actually an ancestor of Steve Vest, of course, who's the publisher of Kentucky Monthly. We're going to be launching his book at the end of September, along with Capital City Museum and Kentucky Monthly. We're very proud to be able to do that.
Another quick plug, if I can, for
absolutely.
Steve Vest. He did our Meet the Candidates interviews back in the spring for the primary, and he'll be doing those again here in the next few weeks.
We love Steve.
Yeah, less than a month now. It feels kind of crazy to say, but he'll be recording those here with us for the candidates in the general election. But yeah, Steve's a great guy.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
And then this is also in September, we'll be hosting, there's a new book coming out from the University Press of Kentucky called Kentucky Y'all, and it's a celebration of sort of all things Kentucky, the people and our traditions, by Blair Thomas Hess and Cameron Ludwig. And they're going to be bringing that to the library and doing a reading and a signing. Have another great poetry event coming up. We've been having some wonderful turnouts for poetry readings. We'll be hosting 3 wonderful Kentucky poets, Lenny Hay, Missy Brownson Ross, and Linnell Edwards. That's coming up. And And that's just literary events. We have plenty of other things happening for all ages, and I really encourage you to head onto our website www.pspl.org, pick up a newsletter if you're at the library, or check out our Facebook page. It's just Paul Sawyier Public Library to see all the great things that we have going on. And of course, you can always come down and get a book too. So.
And your all's website is fantastic. You just go to pspl.org and you see I love seeing the staff pics too, and I like seeing that in person as well when we go down there. But yeah, seeing it on the site and then seeing all the events, and you just click more, and it's just like it just it's like so much stuff that you all have going on at the library, and we love talking about it here on the show.
Well, we appreciate your support and helping us get the word out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really hope everyone will come out this Saturday. Again, that's August 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They're at the Paul Sawyier Public Library. That's at 319 Wapping Street, right downtown Frankfort. It's free and open to the public. And this is an event for you, the readers. And we hope that you'll come down and see us and meet these wonderfully talented writers from all over our great state of Kentucky.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'll read one quick comment. Leslie says, Diane is a Frankfort treasure.
Thank you, Leslie. That's so sweet.
One thing about the library that I was thinking about the last time I was in is to just completely divert from all the literary talk.
It's okay.
Just that it's the last surviving place that you can rent a video. You can go in and look at actual shelves of DVDs and Blu-rays, and it's like, this is nice. Like, and you all have a ton of them, so it's like
you sure can. I mean, we keep
TV,
up with
movies.
We keep up with all the new releases, and then the box sets of shows and that sort of thing. So our DVDs are very popular.
Yeah, people used to love to be able to go in and scan a shelf rather than just continuously scroll on for whatever reason. Like, I like to be able to see the boxes and walk to the different sections of, like, here's this, here's that. You can still do that at the library. It's kind of nice.
You sure can. Absolutely free.
I know our very own director Brett is a big fan. He often reminds me that he'll get I was like, oh, where'd you watch that? Is it streaming somewhere? He's like, no, I just went down to the library.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. People don't take enough advantage of that, I'm sure. Diane, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
And we'll see you again soon.